Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin here with Reedsy. So today we've got some writing exercises to help you improve your dialogue. Dialogue is an element of writing that a lot of people can struggle with. There are aspects of it that can be a little counterintuitive. You're both trying to write something that sounds natural and is within each character's voice, but it also has narrative purpose and isn't too rambly. So there can be a lot of fine balancing acts to toe with dialogue. I would definitely say that I find dialogue one of the hardest elements of writing for me personally, and it's the element of writing I've been working the hardest to improve over the past couple years. So if, like me, you're trying to improve your dialogue skills, here are a couple writing exercises that you can try that can really help you hone and develop different elements of dialogue. Exercise number 1, the impersonator. This is a great exercise to help you learn how to write in other voices. Pick up one of your favorite books, ideally one that has a really strong voice and a voice that is maybe different from your own. Read a couple pages and then try to write a scene from your story in the voice of that novel. This makes you really pay attention to the minutia of how character voice is created and built, and that's really helpful when you're trying to develop a bunch of different character voices across your story. Exercise number 2, borrowing a conversation. This is the opposite of that exercise. Pick a scene of dialogue from one of your favorite books and then rewrite that scene with the characters from your book. So you keep the same beats of the dialogue, the same topic and the way the scene develops, and the same setting, but you're gonna use your characters and your characters' own voices. What's really fun about this exercise is that it really helps you see how different characters and different voices can completely change how dialogue is written and phrased, because you're gonna take a conversation that you've already read and has already been written by someone else and rewrite it with different characters and see how that completely changes the scene and the voices. And it can actually really help you pick up on details of your characters' voices because you're comparing them to the original speakers of the scene. Exercise number 3 may be my favorite dialogue exercise, subtext or not. The point of this exercise is to help you develop subtext, which is a really great skill in dialogue, and it's often the key to good dialogue is to have interesting subtext. So you're going to write an argument between two characters. They can be characters from a story or just random characters made up for this exercise. You're gonna write 2 versions of the argument. In the first argument, there's no subtext whatsoever. So the characters are just gonna say exactly what it is they mean, exactly what they're feeling. They're gonna withhold nothing, 100% truthfulness. And then you're going to write a second version of the scene that is entirely in subtext. So at no point throughout the scene is either character going to say exactly what they're thinking. It's all going to be buried within the subtext. So in the second scene, they're probably going to completely talk around the argument. Probably it'll come across as very passive aggressive, but it's a great way to really identify how to take conflict and bury it within the subtext and how that can actually make it more effective. Exercise number 4. Dialogue only. If you really want to flex the dialogue muscle and really learn how to write dialogue that can stand on its own, this is the exercise to try. Write a short story entirely told through dialogue. You only want to have 2 characters here, or else it will be impossibly confusing. So write a short story between 2 characters and there's no narrative, no action, nothing, just dialogue. You'll have to really enhance the voices to make it clear who's speaking, and also use the dialogue to show the entire range of the character's emotions, because you don't have any dialogue tags, any action beats, or any internal narrative to support it. Exercise number 5, formatting fun. Personally, I love this exercise because I love playing with form, and this is a great exercise if you want to kind of take dialogue into a different format and see what you can learn about dialogue by studying it when you change its rules a little. Write a scene or short story where you format the dialogue in an unconventional way, or where the characters are speaking through an unconventional means, such as they're texting, or they're speaking through Morse code, or they're passing notes to each other in class. Play with the actual medium of dialogue. The dialogue may not be characters literally speaking, but explores voice through another medium, and based on the way your characters are communicating, try to think of the best way to format that dialogue other than just the standard quotation mark. You can come up with some really interesting things when you're forced to play with the bounds of form to fit a unique scenario, and this is a great exercise to just get you thinking about unique ways to format a story and specifically format dialogue. Number 6 is to create a twist. Write a scene where one character is trying to convince another character of something. Doesn't really matter what, it could even be something a little outlandish. But whatever it is, they're trying to, say, convince a character to do something, or they're arguing a certain position. And then halfway through the scene, their perspectives will actually shift. So the character who was arguing now holds the opposite position, and the character who was being convinced has now been convinced. This is quite a challenging exercise, but it's a really crucial skill to be able to evolve a scene in that way, creating that turning point in the middle that changes the stakes and really reveals character. So it's a really challenging exercise, but one that's definitely worth attempting for that reason. And finally, number 7, mirror, mirror on the wall. Have your character practice a conversation they're nervous about to themselves in the mirror. Show how they imagine the scene will go and what they're planning to say. Then contrast that by writing the actual scene. How is it completely different in real life versus in the character's mind? This will really create interesting contrast between how your character expects situations to unfold, especially their views of this other character and what they expected them to say, versus the reality of this person and how they're actually going to act in real life. This can really help you uncover very interesting points of tension and places where your characters are not on the same page. It can really help you illuminate your character's perspectives on the situation by contrasting this imagined idealized version, whether it's super idealized or overly fraught with worry, to the actual reality. So those are 7 exercises to help you hone your dialogue. Dialogue can be a really tricky skill. Exercises like this can really be illuminating to help develop different skills within dialogue that then you can apply within your actual story, especially because a lot of these exercises can actually be done with the characters from your novel, which makes them even more useful for doing some character development work alongside practicing your dialogue. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos from us. We've got new writing, editing, and publishing tips every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time, bye!